Welcome to episode 2 of James, Greg, and Pete, the podcast here. Football podcast right here. We are at halftime in Kansas City, Missouri at Arrowhead Stadium as the Kansas City Chiefs lead the New York Giants 14-10. Mahomes is not hitting anything right now. The Giants defense looks decent. They're giving up yards, but they're stopping people. Pete, what are you seeing right now?
This is a new version of Mahomes. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That whole dynamic quarterback that everybody loves, including the fans. The media loves it. They all look at that as the greatest way to play quarterback. This whole backyard football, jump throws, throwing off balance. It seems to be dwindling a little bit, and I don't think it's so much of him being less accurate. I think it's less confidence just because of throughout the year he's been less accurate. He's turned over the ball, and I feel like it's catching up with him.
No, 100%. I've watched a lot of their games over the past 2.5 years, 2-3 years, and I'll tell you right now, first of all, the league has figured him out, and he hasn't made any adjustments. You said it perfectly. He was ready to be christened this wonderful next big thing, face of the NFL, and he got bitch slapped by Tom Brady, and rightfully so. Tom Brady was the better player. They got their asses kicked and deserved it. Not only that, though, they haven't been able to get it back together. The defense hasn't been there. The organization has spent a lot of money, including $100 million on a guy just charged with another crime for having a gun in his car in Los Angeles, Frank Clark. But Kansas City has not been accurate here, and they're not playing very well. And they remind me a lot of the Seattle Seahawks when they were supposed to be the next dynasty, and they got bitch slapped by Brady. The other thing I'm going to say before I throw to James to talk about the Giants here is you look at someone like Patrick Mahomes, very early success in the league. Same thing happened with Eli Manning. He won very early. Does this affect your psyche, James, and what happens going forward for the rest of your career if you win early?
It only helps if you win early. Getting the experience under your belt, it seems to build. The Giants look okay. I don't know what I was really expecting. Jones is kind of an enigma. He'll be awesome in a bunch of plays, then he'll fall down, or he'll throw an ill-conceived pick, or he'll fumble the ball. And he hasn't made the big mistake today. It's a close game, two kind of sloppy teams. You see Mahomes and you see the arm angle throws. There's interesting, he'll submarine it. He'll go over the top, and it's all very impressive. He's just, again, he'll go and throw downfield, and it's effectively a jump ball. And, for whatever reason, it had been going his way, and now it's starting not to. He's just assuming it'll be there for him, and you can't assume in this league that way.
Exactly.
You got to change with the times and what the defenses give you.
It's inconsistent. It's just inconsistent. It looks good when it connects, and then when it doesn't, it's bad. And
exactly.
I'm surprised they got him for intentional grounding this game. And there was a couple of plays. I don't want to discredit the Giants defense at all, but guys are wide open. He's missing Kelsey all day today. He's missed him 3 times, once on the first drive that led to the interception. Before the interception was thrown, he missed him. He missed him on the intentional grounding play that they got called for, and it's weird. Yeah, and I'm not discrediting the Giants. What stinks about this game, though? As good as the Giants are holding their own in this game, you said it, James. They're gonna something's gonna happen at some point in the game.
I'm waiting.
You saw almost a mocked kickoff return. Punt. He muffed it. You saw the early interception by Daniel Jones. Something is gonna happen, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, right now we're seeing with two teams, with the Chiefs have absolutely no defense, and that offense we've seen the last couple of years just isn't there. It doesn't just turn on automatically. And that's another thing too, is that they got cocky, and the league is figuring them out. And you're seeing teams like the Las Vegas Raiders right now. I would say positionally, as far as they play the game. I think Derek Carr is a better quarterback as far as playing the position. Hasn't had as much success, but he also didn't come into a team that was built to win when they got him.
Yeah, week 8 was really interesting in terms of Derek Carr's MVP candidacy.
You got a long way to go.
I know it's a long way to go, but you look at Kyle Murray had a bad game. Tom Brady had a bad game. Derrick Henry, who was probably the leading MVP candidate, is not playing anymore. We're going to get into that, Greg, I'm sure at any point. But, all these guys took a step back.
Yeah.
All he has to do is just continue to just play at a high level. And we'll see what happens.
Pete, I would also add with the coaching change and all what's going on with the Raiders right now, there's a lot of adversity he's got to go through. There's a lot of stuff you're not hearing him say. I would love to hear how he really feels about John Gruden. You're not going to hear him say that if he likes the guy, obviously, because he wants to keep his job. Also, I see Gruden might be suing Goodell in the NFL. We'll talk about that next show. But I will say, when a guy like Derek Carr, when you put him on a team like that, who has not had a lot of success the last 20 years, drafting to be a franchise quarterback, struggles a little bit, gets hurt when they do make that playoffs. Remember, what was it, Connor Cook? He had to start, Pete. And it's been rough. But I would say right now, I think the Las Vegas Raiders are the favorites to win the the AFC West.
Well, they're looking like that 2016 team, for sure. And they just got to play through it. I'd love to see Carr play in a playoff game. Who knows? He might just flop and lose it. Who knows? But, I just want to see him get there. That's all. Guy deserves it.
Well, maybe he could get that Super Bowl ring like his brother does. He backed up some guy. James, who was that guy he backed up?
Number 10, Eli Manning.
There you go. Eli Manning, another guy.
Yeah, maybe we won't see Mahomes in every single commercial, even when they're not playing good. It was just only the greatest thing. I love watching Baker Mayfield on every commercial right now.
Every one.
It's so good.
You get pick number 1, you get it good. All right, guys, that's the Monday Night Football game tonight. We are moving on. There was a huge trade in the NFL as Von Miller, a former Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 50 for the Denver Broncos, shipped off to Los Angeles to play for the Rams. What does that do to the dynamic right now of the Rams to challenge the Buccaneers in the NFC?
What do you got, James?
Well, I would say it can't hurt them. Von Miller's not what he was in 2016, 2017, 2018. He's been a little injury plagued. You don't really hear much about him anymore. But being added to an already stout defense, it can only help matters. And, I think if he can make 2 big plays for them in the playoffs, that might be enough to justify this completely.
Exactly. It's 2 late round draft picks they gave, I read.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, Pete, as a Raiders fan, are you happy to have him out of the division?
Oh, it doesn't matter. The only way we'll see him is in the playoffs, I guess, at this point, right? But, 4.5 sacks he's got this year. It's not amazing, but 4.5 is right around league average. It's just, you're right, though, James. He's been quiet. You don't hear a lot of people talking about him, and it's because of the overall performance of the Broncos themselves. If they continued winning after those first 3 games against, which were gimmies along the way, we'd hear a different tune. He's doing it by himself there. That's also probably a reason why his numbers are low. Is there's nobody else really stepping up around him in Denver. So maybe he'll go to LA and shine. The only regard I have about this whole thing is, where does LA have the capital to be paying for all these players? It's just, Stafford's making a ton of money. They got what's the cornerback? What's his name? I'm drawing a blank now. Guy's making a ton.
Norman? Josh Norman, is he over there?
No, not Norman. Oh God. Oh, Ramsey's making a ton of money. You got Aaron Donald making a ton of money. Aaron Donald
probably the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah, and Von Miller signed that huge, I think it was after the Super Bowl year, I think he signed like a 7-year deal worth millions of dollars. And, that money doesn't that transfer over to the Rams now since he got traded?
It would be prorated, but yeah, for whatever he's got.
I don't understand it.
He can be cut too at the end of the year if there's nothing there.
I'm gonna Google and find out that guys like Cooper Kupp are making less than $1 million. There's got to be something along there. I haven't looked at it, to be honest. But
yeah, there's a lot of that too. They also run the risk of what Kansas City did and wind up spending on 5 players, and the rest of the team can't make a play. All right. So speaking of making a play, it looks like the Tennessee Titans. Ooh, this one hurts. Derrick Henry, foot injury, having looks like season-ending surgery. This guy was tearing it up. We have not seen a running back like this in the NFL in years. And considering Tennessee is the one team that really uses the run, is their season over?
It seems like Tennessee was the last bastion of the I formation. No one else uses it anymore. Everyone spreads everything out wide, has the defenses having to account for everybody. But they were like, all right, well, we have the best running back in the league. We'll line up and feed him. And if you can stop him, God bless you. This changes the whole power dynamic in the league, especially in the AFC. Pete, you got to be feeling good about that. That injury probably slides you up somewhere between 1, 2, 3. I mean, I would say the Bills are the best team in the AFC right now. It's hard to say the Titans were not number 2 with a healthy Henry, but I think it bumps them down a spot or 2 there, and maybe the Raiders fill that spot. Who else could fill that spot now?
Chargers.
The Chargers were my team to upset the Chiefs in the NFC West, or to the AFC West coming into the season. I watched the entire game of them and the Chiefs this year at Arrowhead, and God, was Justin Herbert good. Oh my God, he stepped up at the right time and silenced everybody.
Yeah, and then turned around and lost a bunch of games, though.
It's really strange too. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But the question is here, the only team that could realistically challenge the Titans for that division is the Colts. Does Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts take over Ryan Tannehill now, who will have to step up and be a leader for the Tennessee Titans?
Very, very quiet Colts team doing a lot of winning. I mean, there's just not a lot of winning, but they're tough. Definitely a tough team. So now that their defense is up there amongst the best, and if you're in fantasy, go out and pick up Jerry McNichols.
I hope one of these AFC teams gets desperate and thinks it's moving time and trades for Evan Ingram. Take him away, please. Somebody take him, please. I don't want to watch this guy play anymore.
Well, you got to see who needs it. It's not going to be Kansas City.
Take him.
I doubt it'll be the Raiders, but we'll see. It could be somebody. Someone might take him. And
Waller's a half. They don't need him.
We got Foster Moreau backing up Waller. We're good. Foster Moreau would start for any other team if he was there. Guy's a stud.
Yeah. All right. So another thing this weekend we saw 3 backup quarterbacks come in and win football games. That was Mike White out of Western Kentucky, rooting for the Jets. It was Trevor Siemian, I want to say, out of Northwestern, winning for the Saints. He's kind of been a journeyman. Remember him with Denver. And the other one too was Cooper Rush, Dallas Cowboys out of Central Michigan. They were able to get it done. All 3 of these backup quarterbacks. Are any of them have a future in the NFL, or is this just 1 week until one of their main starter gets back?
I think this was a bad bee stings for everybody that gambled this week on football. In the past, it's like, the backup quarterback's playing against Tom Brady. What a gimme. I mean, I'm a victim of that myself. It goes farther than that. This is the year of backup quarterbacks doing it. It was on Cleveland. What do you had? Case Keenum came in and beat who did they play that week? I still got to get my...
Yeah, that was the Broncos.
Right. They beat the Broncos that game. And it's just every time a backup has stepped up this year, it's been in a big way. And it's been in an unpredictable way. So that's the kind of year we're having. Beware of backup.
As far as the future goes, no, I see these guys as backing somebody up in their best scenario. On the Cooper Rush thing, guys, I'm getting a little scared of the Cowboys. Like, they should not have won that game. Defense. I don't want to start giving them credit because I hate their guts, but they're looking like a dangerous team. If they can keep all their weapons healthy, and Dak comes back and plays well, I don't think anyone wants to play these guys in the playoffs. But there's a lot more games in the longest season in NFL history. We're gonna see a lot of things because of this extra game. Like these runs where you seem awesome and like the best team in the league in the middle of the year, they may be just that. And by the end of the year, I might be speaking a different tune. But right now, oh man, like Cowboys winning games like that it bothers me and it's kind of scary.
Momentum is a huge thing in football. Go ahead, Greg. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say they benefit from a weak division too, and that's going to help them a lot there. But you got to see when they eventually, because the way football is kind of set up, there's about 4 teams in the conference that usually are going to be in the playoffs. It'll probably be the Buccaneers, the Rams, the Cowboys will be there, and the Packers. So those are going to be the teams that's going to be lining up to beat those. You see what the Rams are doing right now, pretty much setting their team up. It's more or less to beat Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Because that's what they want to do.
Yeah, the memes have been out there. Yeah, all this to beat an old man, right? Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, he's now the thing about Tom Brady though is this dude's going to play at least 50. He just doesn't slow down. It's pretty incredible.
It's
good.
All right, so our last segment, Pete. What do we call it? Dead bets? What's it called?
Oh, bad beats.
Bad beats.
Oh, bad beats.
Bad beats.
Oh, whoever had the LA Rams, you got crushed this week. Leading off that game 38-0, the spread was 16.5. You're thinking, no way going into the fourth quarter. Am I going to lose this bet? No way. And the team runs up. Not only did they score
time.
Garbage time.
Garbage time.
I know the backup came in. I know they did, but the best part about that game was the 2-point conversion. Hitting the 2-point just to slide right under.
The bookies called it in. They got into the system and they're like, "Go for 2, you sons of bitches! Go for 2."
Oh, totally, man.
Why else would you do that? Why?
Hey, listen, somebody knows something. I tell you where somebody knew something also was in that Jets game against Cincinnati, because that line opened up at 10.5. It closed at 8.5. And then whenever you see that happening, somebody knows something. Either somebody knows something or a lot of money is being spent on one side of that football game. And that means somebody put a lot of money on the Jets on the money line. Money line paid up plus 490. That's
crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
On your money. Yes.
Yeah, I took a plus 220 money line on the Packers Thursday night. That interception really helped me a lot.
I
don't think that was fixed though. I mean, even though it looked terrible, even though Julio Jones, not Julio Jones, AJ Green was just disappeared on that play. It's just, I don't think that was fixed. I think that was
turn around, bro. Turn around. Turn
yeah,
around.
throw the outside
where the ball's coming from. Football 101. Oh my God.
All right. So let's Pete, let me finish with this. The Raiders, they had a bye week this week, if I'm correct. Who do they play next week and where do you see them going forward?
We got the Giants next week.
Oh, really?
New York. However, do not count the Giants out in this game. Raiders are terrible on the East Coast on 1:00 games. They always have been. It's been that way for the past 15 years. And Derek Carr carries that torch very well in not playing well on the East Coast. And if the weather is bad, it's going to be especially bad. And I would not count the Giants out in that football game. I'm pretty sure they're looking ahead at their game against the Chiefs the following week. So that's another reason why. Yeah.
Cool.
Go,
yeah, I mean, the Giants aren't out of this game right now. We might see it. We might see them come back. Who knows?
Yeah. Going back to the Jets and Bengals game and going to the Raiders at the Giants this Sunday, you can look up in the football dictionary under trap game, and that might be what you find.
Oh, well, the spread's not out yet. I mean, but they're waiting for the conclusion of this game to put the spread out.
I would say something like Raiders plus 3.5, Raiders plus 4.
Plus? You
mean
minus?
They'd be getting the points.
Sorry.
Listen, if it's that's an accurate spread. I feel like 4 is fair. If you see less than 4, now we're talking trap game. So
yeah. Well, the Giants get their 3 points for being at home, but I could see the Raiders winning comfortably by a touchdown if all things go as expected, and that's not what always happens in these games.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, we got a second half of football at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City coming up. This has been Greg, James, and Pete. This has been the second episode of our football podcast. Catch us next time as we talk more football.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, yeah, this. Oh, I want to end the meeting, end the record.
Yeah,